Hello everyone, David here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Here we are, finally. Drawmer 1977 channel strip. You guys asked for it and Drawmer delivered once again. The 1977 combines all the best modules of all the units in the 19 series. So 1970 warm and versatile preamp, 1978 fat compressor with the saturation and all the extra functions, 1974 equalizer, and much more. All of it in one unit at an extremely affordable price. Without further ado, let's take a look at the front panel and all the functions, and then we're gonna hear how it sounds. Let's go. All right, front panels and controls. Starting from the left, we have our preamplifier section, which is already packed with features. We have gain control, stepped, and we have two different sets of markings. The inward shows the mic preamp from 0 to 66 dB of gain when used as a mic preamplifier. And the outer side shows the level when in line or instrument mode from -24 to +42. We have reverse polarity here and high pass filter in or out, fully variable from 16 Hz to 130. And then we have the input selector knob. We have instrument input with two 1/4 inch instrument DI and instrument through, line level if you want to use this unit just as a compressor and an EQ. Then we have the three different impedances, 2.4, 600 and 200 ohm to match any source or to be used as a tonal control, and microphone with phantom power. Right next to the preamp section we have our routing switch. You can place the EQ before the comp or the comp before EQ. I am sure everybody will love this function. On the top row, we have our equalizer. Basically, this channel strip is a combination of all the most popular 19 series units. So 1974 for the EQ, 1976 and 1974 the compressor. We have saturation, we'll see that in a minute. We start with the low end, which is my favorite band of the 1974 EQ that you know I have. Plus or minus 12 dB for cut or boost. Our frequency selector, all variable, and then this is the thing that I really love about this low band EQ. With the octave buttons, you can select 4 different slopes. Non-selected is gonna be a 6 dB shell, a 9 dB shell, a 12 dB shell, or peak, which is absolutely great. You go from really broad Pultec style territory slope to SSL focused low end. Mid-band with frequency selector, fully variable Q, and again plus or minus dB boost. And then we have the high end. The high end is a shelf plus or minus dB, and again with the octave button you can select the slope 6 dB or 12 dB, and in 12 dB this thing does a pretty cool trick. You gotta try it, but I'll show you in the video later. And with this button you can engage and disengage the EQ all together from the path. Below the EQ we have our compression section. This is of course the classic Drawmer fat compressor with threshold, ratio, attack, release, and this program dependent button here which set the release to be program dependent. On top of that we have the two classic Drawmer buttons, big and air. Big to release some low end from the detector so that the compressor doesn't react and doesn't squash your low end. Same for the top end with the air button. Right next we have the saturate button, very similar to the 1976 and the 1978 type of saturation, really warm and fuzzy. This time around we have two filters to cut the low end and the top end if needed. Next, makeup gain, and with the comp in and out you can decide to take the compressor out of the signal path altogether. Master output section, we have the big VU meter, a pad for the VU meter, a mix knob, and our fade output. And really cool addition is the preamp direct button. When you engage this, you bypass everything and you grab the raw signal out of the preamp. In fact, as you can see in the back, we have line input, mic input, and preamp output clean, and then external sidechain and your main output. Without further ado, let's hear how the Drawmer 1977 channel strip sounds. If you want to hear how the Drawmer preamp sounds when recording, we have a video on the 1970 unit, which has the same exact preamp. These preamps are warm, sound big, and they are extremely versatile. For this test, we are gonna use the line input, and I'm running tracks coming from Pro Tools, so I'm gonna use this one as we would do for hybrid analog mixing. We are gonna start just by running this track in the unit with nothing engaged, just to show you that even running the line level preamp can add a really cool color, especially for vocals and for synths. Let's start.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
Now let's start driving the preamp.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
You hear how musical even the overload is on this unit. We are not using the saturation knob yet. And you will see that when I actually start using the saturation, the VU meter will turn red. And that's an indication of how much saturation you are using. But we also have these two LED lights here in the EQ section that tells you how hot you're running in the unit. But I thought it was interesting because even overdriving the line level preamp gives you really cool results. Let's go back to Unity Gain and start playing with the EQ and compression.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
You hear the character of the Drawmer Fat Compressor. Right now I'm not using the big, I'm not using the air, I'm using 4:1 ratio, attack around 10, and a pretty fast release with program dependent release. And you hear that the Drawmer Fat Compressor, I want to say, is pretty different from most fat compressors out there. Is more musical, warmer, and it almost doesn't sound like a fat compressor. Maybe because we associate the fat compression with the classic 76 and the more snappy compressors, which this can definitely be. I mean, if you up the ratio and you use extreme settings, can really snap. But naturally, I think this compressor gives you the best with this really warm and extremely musical dynamic control. Let's keep going and let's start using the saturation, which is here in the compressor section.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
I think Drawmer really nails the definition of warmth and musicality. I kinda hate to say it, but it kinda takes away the digital vibe that many in-the-box recording have. All the controls are fully variable, which means you're gonna have to spend a little more time recalling them, but at the same time, it gives you complete control over attack, release, ratio, fully variable. Especially the saturation, you wanna be very, very precise with it. Now let's engage the EQ.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
Top end on this equalizer is very smooth and is a workhorse. I have the 1974 in my rack here next to me. And as you know, I have equalizer. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price of that. And I still use that EQ in every single mix I do. And if you notice here, we have the slope button, which sets the octave from 6 to 12. Right now we were using 6. In 12 dB mode, this top band automatically does a trick of cutting and boosting at the same time because of the slope. And it's something that you could do only with much more expensive equalizers right now. And you will recognize this specific top end boost because it's very common on pop and hip hop. You will recognize it especially as I'm moving the corner frequency.
It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. Let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved.
I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys recognize this cut a little earlier than the corner frequencies and boosting in shelf everything else above that. And that is such a familiar top boost in modern pop and hip hop. Let's change track so you can hear more.
Crack the sky as we fall. Ring the sirens, make the call. My name out loud. Kneeling as you bowed. Shout the war cry as you say, whatever comes what may, I allow myself to fall. The writing's on the wall.
You heard the difference. We go from a normal musical shelf at 60B to this very recognizable cut and top boost at the top end, which we heard on countless records. Great mid-range, very, very clear and open. And again, this top end is so freaking musical. And you heard, I mean, I'm exaggerating the settings here, but even if I'm boosting 6 to 8 dB, it's still sounding pretty nice. Now, this is the perfect track to take a look at the low end. The low end is one of my favorite low end in the analog world for the same reason as the top end. Only here we have multiple choices for the slope. We actually have 4. We have a 6 dB octave with none of the buttons engaged. We have a 9 dB octave, a 12 dB octave, and then we turn from shelf to peak. This is one of the most focused and versatile low-end cut or boost in the analog world. In this case, we're gonna cut a little bit of boominess on this guitar. Let's back off our top end and let's play it. I mean, beside being an absolute workhorse because of how versatile it is. And notice one thing, I did not touch these settings for the compressor this entire time. I did it on purpose. I just lowered the ratio a little bit on the rock vocal. This is just to show you how musical this compressor is. And fat compressors usually are not. so forgiving. This is exactly that. It's so forgiving. It's almost impossible to make it sound bad. Now let's do rap vocals and try to push it, but most important, I want you to hear the difference between using the EQ before the compressor or after. This will change not only how the compressor reacts, but also the tone, especially the top end. EQ comp green light and comp EQ red light.
Y'all some bottom feeders, theater clowns. It's robbing season, I'ma beat 'em, fucking kneel 'em down. Make 'em cop a plea for freedom, leave 'em bleeding out. I'm Carlito, mob leader, Don Vito, Nino Brown. And I'm OG like Montana. I don't mean French or henna, more like Tony from Havana. Cause if they try to throw me in the handcuffs, I got my Codies with the handguns to puppet police if they act tough. Cause we got like 4 keys in the back of the OG. We roll deep, man, it go deep in the bang bus. We're so street like gold teeth and bandanas, oh please. Y'all so weak, y'all like both knees on a grandma. And y'all be drip dropping in Gucci tops and Louboutins, new Balenciagas, Louis Vuittons. I'm still rocking FUBU hoodies with some Puma socks like it's 92 and I'm popping locking on boulevards. Man, fuck 'em, Edgar Hoover cops. Fucking losers watch me write these bars in Google Docs. Then spot me copping Glocks and hopping out of Uber cars to pop so many Rugers off these goobers won't know who to call. And when they get blasted with the chrome, the blood splatters in the pattern like fucking antlers out the dome. I carry my city like I'm Atlas with the globe. And if these rappers didn't know I'm the fucking baddest, let them know.
You hear how the tone changes, you hear how the top end changes. If we use the EQ before the compression, we can actually push the top end more and drive it into the compressor to have that really modern sound. But if we switch and we go from EQ before to EQ after, then we have to pay more attention how much we push the low end, because the compressor is not gonna help us containing the S's and the hard consonants. Another thing that we can do, especially on a track like this, we have a mix knob. So we can really use the saturation to push hard and then use the mix knob to run in parallel. Let's try that.
Y'all some bottom feeders, theater clowns. It's robbing season, I'ma beat 'em, fucking kneel 'em down. Make 'em cop a plea for freedom, leave 'em bleeding out. I'm Carlito, mob leader, Don Vito, Nino Brown. And I'm OG like Montana. I don't mean French or henna, more like Tony from Havana. Cause if they try to throw me in the handcuffs, I got my Codies with the handguns to puppet police if they act tough. Cause we got like 4 keys in the back of the OG. We roll deep, man, it go deep in the bang bus. We're so street like gold teeth and bandanas, oh please. Y'all so weak, y'all like both knees on a grandma. And y'all be drip dropping in Gucci tops and Louboutins, new Balenciagas, Louis Vuittons. I'm still rocking FUBU hoodies with some Puma socks like it's 92 and I'm popping locking on boulevards. Man, fuck 'em, Edgar Hoover cops. Fucking losers watch me write these bars in Google Docs. Then spot me copping Glocks and hopping out of Uber cars to pop so many Rugers off these goobers won't know who to call. And when they get blasted with the chrome, the blood splatters in the pattern like fucking antlers out the dome. I carry my city like I'm Atlas with the globe. And if these rappers didn't know I'm the fucking baddest, let them know.
So many different tones out of this. You hear how every single module interact with each other. The EQ interacts with the saturation. If you have the EQ before or after the compression, because the saturation is in this signal path, will also alter the tone of the saturation, how much. And then you have the mix knob if you want to inject a little bit of the dry signal. All right, let's run some drums in it so we can hear the sidechain functions, the big and the hair. Of course, the big cuts the low end in the detector. The air does the same with the top end. No EQ for now, no saturation for now, so we can hear the character of the compressor. Nothing engaged, just driving it as hard as I can with super fast attack and release to show you that yes, this fat compressor is super musical and handles from acoustic guitars to rap vocals to pop vocals, but it can be mean. Let's play with the sidechain. Now it's going to be very clear how important are those filters when using the saturation. But I want you to notice something. You can rewind the video. This is one of the few saturation that is pleasant even when you run it full band and you don't cut the low end, which usually is the first one to get messed up and you can't really use it. Also, you hear how effective the top cut is. This is, again, if you want to run it in parallel, if you want to remove harshness from material. And we didn't use the EQ, so let's go back to the drum and play with it a little. The last couple of examples I want to run, maybe some synth in it. Once again, a ton of different sounds from this unit. Grab a pair and you have a workhorse combination for groups and stereo tracks. And this was the Drawmer 1977 channel strip in all its glory. This video also wants to be an homage to Ivor Drawmer, founder of the company, who unfortunately passed not long ago. Condolences to the family, the colleagues. With that said, I don't think I had to add anything about this unit. An absolute blast. Super warm unit, super versatile unit. The link to it is going to be in the info box down below. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like. And if you like the content, consider using the super thanks and support the channel. And if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixWest TV member, or now you can buy all the individual courses at this email down here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my